I don't have a papa. Can you be my daddy forever? The rain hammered against the stained glass windows of St. Mary's Cathedral as Marcus Richardson sat alone in the back pew, his $1,000 suit soaked and his heart heavier than the storm clouds above. At 35, he was the youngest CEO of Richardson Industries, commanding boardrooms and building empires, yet he felt more empty than ever before. His wife had left him 6 months ago, taking their dreams of a family with her, claiming he was married to his work and incapable of real love. If you're enjoying this emotional journey already, please hit that like button and subscribe to Billionaire in Love for more heartwarming stories. Your support means everything to us, and don't forget to share this with someone who needs to hear this message today. As Marcus sat there questioning everything he'd built, a small voice broke through his thoughts like a ray of sunshine, piercing storm clouds. "Mister, why are you crying?" He looked down to see a little girl, no more than 6 years old, with golden curls and eyes as blue as summer skies. She wore a faded pink dress that was clearly too small for her growing frame, and her tiny hand held a worn teddy bear missing one eye. "I'm not crying, sweetheart," Marcus lied, quickly wiping his eyes. "Just got caught in the rain." The little girl tilted her head with the wisdom that only children possess. "Mama says it's okay to cry." She cries sometimes too, especially when she thinks I'm asleep. She climbed onto the pew beside him without invitation, her small presence somehow filling the vast emptiness he'd been carrying. "I'm Emma, what's your name?" "Marcus," he replied, surprised by how naturally he found himself talking to this child. "What are you doing here all alone, Emma?" Emma's face lit up with innocent excitement. "I come here every Sunday to talk to God about my papa. Mama says he's in heaven now, but I asked God if maybe he could send me a new papa, just for a little while." Her words hit Marcus like a physical blow. Here was this beautiful child, facing loss with more grace than he'd shown in months of self-pity. Over the following weeks, Marcus found himself returning to St. Mary's every Sunday, not for prayer but hoping to see Emma again. Each week she was there, sitting in the same spot talking to her invisible friend in the sky with unwavering faith. Gradually, Marcus learned Emma's story through their brief conversations. Her mother, Sarah, worked 3 jobs to keep them afloat after Emma's father died in a construction accident 2 years prior. Emma spent most afternoons at the church's after-school program because Sarah couldn't afford proper childcare. Marcus began volunteering at the program, initially telling himself it was just corporate social responsibility. But the truth was simpler and more profound. Emma had awakened something in him he didn't know existed. She would run to him every afternoon, her face glowing with pure joy, telling him about her day at school, her dreams of becoming a veterinarian, and her constant prayers for a papa. One rainy Thursday, Emma didn't show up to the program. Marcus felt a panic he'd never experienced in any boardroom crisis. He found Sister Margaret, the program coordinator, and learned that Emma was sick with pneumonia and in the hospital. Without hesitation, Marcus drove through the storm to County General Hospital. He found Sarah sleeping in a chair beside Emma's bed, her face etched with worry and exhaustion. She looked up as he entered, suspicious and protective. "Who are you?" "How do you know Emma?" Marcus introduced himself, explaining about the church program and their Sunday conversations. Sarah's expression softened when Emma's fever broke, and she opened her eyes to see Marcus standing there. "Marcus," she whispered weakly, "you came to see me." "Of course I did, Princess," he said, sitting beside her bed. "I brought you something." He pulled out a brand new teddy bear, this one with both eyes intact and a small card that read, "Get well soon. Love, your friend Marcus." Emma clutched the bear tight and looked up at him with those impossibly blue eyes. "Marcus, I don't have a papa, and you don't have a little girl. Maybe God brought us together." The innocence and hope in her voice shattered every wall Marcus had built around his heart. Over the next few weeks, as Emma recovered, Marcus found himself becoming deeply involved in their lives. He paid Emma's hospital bills anonymously, ensuring Sarah never knew. He started taking Emma to doctor's appointments when Sarah couldn't leave work. He helped with homework, attended school plays, and slowly became the father figure Emma had been praying for. But challenges arose that tested Marcus in ways his business experience never had. Sarah discovered he'd been paying medical bills and confronted him angrily. "We don't need your charity," she said, pride flashing in her eyes. "Emma and I have managed fine on our own. Marcus realized he'd handled the situation all wrong, approaching their relationship like a business transaction, rather than understanding the dignity and independence Sarah fought to maintain. He apologized sincerely, explaining that his actions came from care, not pity. "I've never had a family," he admitted. "I don't know how to do this, but Emma has taught me what love really means." The breakthrough came during Emma's 7th birthday party, which Marcus had offered to host at his mansion. Emma had invited her entire class, but only 3 children showed up. Their families couldn't afford to travel to his wealthy neighborhood. Emma tried to hide her disappointment, but Marcus saw right through her brave smile. That's when Marcus made a decision that would change everything. He knelt down to Emma's level and said, "What if we had your real party somewhere everyone could come?" Within hours, he'd transformed the church community center into a magical wonderland, complete with a bouncy castle, face painters, and enough food to feed the entire neighborhood. Every child from Emma's class came, along with their families, creating the joyous celebration Emma deserved. As Marcus watched Emma laugh and play with genuine happiness, Sarah approached him. "She adores you," she said quietly. "I've never seen her so happy since her father died." Marcus felt his chest tighten with emotion. "She's changed my life, Sarah. I was successful but completely empty. Emma filled a space in my heart I didn't know existed." That night, as the party wound down and families headed home, Emma climbed into Marcus's lap with a serious expression. "Marcus, can I ask you something important?" He nodded, giving her his full attention. Emma took a deep breath and looked directly into his eyes. "I don't have a papa, and I know you want a little girl to love. Can you be my daddy forever? Not just on Sundays or when I'm sick, but every day?" The question hung in the air like a prayer finally answered. Marcus felt tears streaming down his face as he looked at this incredible child who had taught him the true meaning of love, family, and purpose. "Emma, there's nothing in this world I want more than to be your daddy forever." The legal process took months, but Marcus navigated it with the same determination he brought to business deals. Except this time it was for something that truly mattered. Sarah, who had initially been hesitant about disrupting Emma's life, saw how genuinely Marcus loved her daughter and how Emma blossomed under his care. She eventually agreed to let Marcus adopt Emma. Understanding that love comes in many forms and families are built on bonds stronger than biology, the adoption was finalized on a sunny Sunday morning at the same church where Marcus had first met Emma. As the judge declared Emma officially his daughter, Marcus felt a completeness he'd never experienced. Emma threw her arms around his neck and whispered, "I knew God would answer my prayers. I just didn't know he'd send me someone so perfect." Marcus's entire perspective on success transformed. He restructured his company to allow for better work-life balance, not just for himself, but for all his employees. He established a foundation, providing support for single parents and children who had lost parents, remembering how difficult those times had been for Emma and Sarah. His company's motto changed from building empires to building families, reflecting his new understanding of what truly matters in life. Emma flourished in her new life, but she never forgot her roots or the lessons her biological father had taught her about kindness and resilience. She kept his picture on her nightstand and would tell Marcus stories about him, helping Marcus understand that he wasn't replacing Emma's father, but rather continuing the love story in a new chapter. Years later, as Marcus tucked a teenage Emma into bed after her first day of high school, she looked up at him with those same blue eyes that had captivated him in that church pew so many years ago. "Daddy, do you ever regret that rainy Sunday when I asked if you'd be my papa forever?" Marcus smiled, brushing a curl from her forehead. "Emma, that was the day my real life began. You didn't just ask me to be your daddy. You taught me how to be human. You saved me just as much as I saved you." Emma grinned. "I guess we saved each other then." As Marcus turned off her light and headed downstairs to his home office, he paused at the family photos lining the hallway. Pictures of school plays, birthday parties, family vacations, and quiet Sunday mornings. Each image told the story of a lonely CEO who found his purpose through the love of a little girl who simply needed a papa. Marcus had learned that true success isn't measured in profit margins or stock prices, but in bedtime stories read, "Scraped knees kissed better." and the unwavering trust in a child's eyes. Emma had taught him that the most important business deal he'd ever make was the one that made him a father. And the most valuable investment he'd ever made was in love itself. The rain that had brought them together that first Sunday now sounded different against their windows, not like tears of loneliness, but like nature's applause for a love story that proved families are built not just on blood, but on choice, commitment, and the courage to open your heart to unexpected blessings. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Billionaire in Love for more inspiring stories about love, family, and second chances. Share this video with someone who needs to believe in the power of unexpected connections, and let us know in the comments what this story meant to you. Your engagement helps us bring more heartwarming content to viewers around the world. Remember, sometimes the most beautiful families are the ones we choose, and love always finds a way to heal the broken places in our hearts.